This is Fantasy Avenue, hosted by Mikey Andersen, your road to fantasy football victory. Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Avenue, 10:01 at night edition. What's up? I'm Mikey Andersen. Week 2 review. Here we go. Yeah, so filming this on a Wednesday at 10:01 p.m. I want to, just get that out of the way real quick, provide some context into the episode. Why, might you ask? Is it 10:01 on a Wednesday and I'm filming? Well, Wednesday is really the day, right? Tuesday, Wednesday is when I'm trying to get this podcast out. It's perfect time between Thursday night football, whatever. Fortunately, my life is pretty busy right now. I got practice, and I got a lot of college application stuff, some scholarship stuff that's due next week. So debated skipping the podcast episode this week, but I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be talking about my podcast on my college applications, I better actually do the podcast. So I'm doing it because I'm here. We here every week. There's no stopping. If I do it this week, there's going to be nothing in my way. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not gonna stop unless I'm shriveled up, right? Unless I'm in bed for a week straight. Even then, I'll do a podcast. I will sit down with my mic and push record. So we're out here. It's week 2. No problem, really. A little short little episode talking about this week's guys' targets to trade for on the waiver wire. Maybe a couple trade dudes or two, and then I'm gonna get you out of here. We'll talk about the top players at each position. So let's just start it there. We'll go position by position if you don't know the format. Also next week, same thing, right? The intro will be a little different. A little high pressure intro. I'll be filming while recording a video for the scholarship program, just a video insight into my life. So I'm picking the podcast because this is pretty important, and it's a fun thing I get to do that not a lot of people do. So I think it'll be cool. Anyway, with the intro out of the way, we're gonna hop into the leaders at each position. If you're new to it, we look over last week. We see who was kind of the best players, and then while I do this, I kind of give you a player at each position to target, right, for this upcoming week. Kind of have the guys in mind, but I like to go over the top guys at each position anyway. So we'll start with quarterbacks. Kyler Murray. Shout out Lucas. You said you traded for him. Good freaking work. Kyler Murray is having a heck of a season. He played a perfect game apparently. Apparently he had a 158.3 passer rating, which if you know football, that's literally perfect. Like all the algorithms and math, it's nuts. It's crazy. He played so well. 81% completion percentage, that's nuts. So he was your top fantasy quarterback as well. Then we have Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. Now, you want to tell me who doesn't fit there? I'll tell you who doesn't fit there. Derek Carr and Sam Darnold. What are they doing this year? It's crazy. Derek Carr, 100% a target. Sam Darnold, I'm a little unsure, but Derek Carr is playing like he's prime Raiders. Classic Raiders, you know what I mean? Just letting go of the good guys. No, but on a serious note, frickin' Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are both playing great, going away from Carolina. That's why I don't believe Bryce Young is the problem. I know I got some Panther fans out there. Bryce Young is not the issue. It's the rest of your roster, okay? And I think if a Broncos fan, a Giants fan, or a Panthers fan are really the only people who understand how painful it is to have that bad of a team right now, and I'm one of those teams, so I understand your pain. But benching him is not going to help. He's a guy you kind of have to stick with him. Guys going away from your team like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and playing well show that there's maybe a little bit of a I don't know the word for it. There's something else going on, okay? But anyway, Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, your 3, 4, and 5 quarterbacks from this week. They're playing lights out. It's pretty sick. And then there's a lot of disappointments. Patrick Mahomes scored 12.9 points. Dak Prescott, 12.9. Dudes that are getting drafted in the top 5, Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen, 9.8 and 9.9. I don't know what's really going on. How are you going to say that Josh Allen scored one more point than Bo Nix and Caleb Williams? That's crazy. I don't really know what to say about that. But quarterbacks are a position that they're hard to draft. You basically get stuck with who you draft. And at this point, if Derek Carr's picked up in your league, it's kind of too late to trade for him. Quarterbacks are like a week 6 evaluate what's going on in your life type thing, It's like it's kind of like if you have this long-term girlfriend, right? And you're not just gonna not see her for a couple days and be like, wow, I need a change. You're gonna ride it out because there's some history, and you know that there needs to be more history. You know what I'm saying? It takes time to make a real decision. Now, if you go 2 months without seeing this girl, and you're not long distance, then you might think of, what's the problem here? What's going on? I'm not scoring any points, fantasy wise or real life wise. Then you're like, But don't panic yet, people. Josh Allen, 9.8, don't panic. I'm not panicking, and I got him on my roster, so we all good. Let's go to running back. Let's see what we got. Alvin Kamara. This guy is the king of massive fantasy points. Luckily, I believe I was playing him in a league when he scored like 60 on Christmas. That was kind of a Christmas ruiner, low-key for me. Wasn't playing him this week, though, so I'm all good. Him, A-Chain, Cook, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, and then Braylon Allen. Dude, J.K. Dobbins is playing lights out. He is a big pickup this week. A lot of these guys, the problem is they're kind of already picked up. So, what are you going to do, right? Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt. Chiefs running backs are automatically flying off the board. I don't know if I trust that. I know, Coach Chandler, you're saying today that you picked up Samaje Perine. That's a good pickup, and I liked him when he was on the Broncos because of how much passes he catches, but I'm a little scared this first week. Pacheco's going to be out for 4 weeks. I wouldn't start any Chiefs running backs this week. Kind of see who's getting the target share, and then go from there. And hopefully, if it's Perine and you have Perine and he's scoring 13 points, he's got, 6 catches, then that's when you think, okay, this dude's a starter. But, kind of the top running backs this week were all pretty, known dudes. J.K. Dobbins is really the only exception, and in a lot of leagues, he's not going to be available. But he's a guy you might look at. And then, obviously, James Cook. I hyped him up all offseason, and he's balling out. So, what can I say? It was a good week. It was a good week for the running backs, and that's my 2 cents on that. Any running backs who are real disappointed, let's go down to the bottom of the list. Oh, yes. Rashad White. That's the one I remember. He 18 rushing yards, 5 receiving yards on 1 catch. And he was in the game for 71% of the snaps. What's wrong? The guy right under him was Jeff Wilson, and he was in the game for 14% of snaps. So, tell me what Rashad White was even doing on the field. I'm hoping he was blocking a lot. They beat the Lions, so I'm assuming he had some role, because the Lions are pretty good. I don't know what he was doing. I have no idea. I can hear in my voice that it's late, because, I drank all my water at my desk, and my voice is just, slowly, diving down. This is when people say that I have a voice changer on, and I swear on my mother's life that I am not that weird, okay? I am confident enough in my boyhood to not use a voice changer. And this is not a voice changer. This is just me. This is me. Yeah, this is me, all right? Receivers. Let's just move on. Receivers, crazy week, bro. 2 rookies in the top 3 with DK smacked in the middle. DK was having a rough start to the year with a 5.9 performance against Denver. His little Patrick PS2 locked his butt up. But anyway, I actually traded for DK in a league this week. Oh, wait, yeah. Dude, I didn't even give you the trade update. Big trade. I'm in a dynasty league. If you remember last week, I was talking about maybe trading away Xavier Worthy while I was high on him, right? Or while the whole league is high on him. Well, I was saying that because it was my plan in my brain, and I ended up doing it. I'll read off the trade right now. It's big. My running backs in this league were atrocious, right? It's a double flex league, and I had both receivers starting at the flex positions. My running backs were Josh Jacobs and Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler playing pretty bad, and then the third guy in is Chuba Hubbard. So I need some help at running back, and that's kind of how I based the trade. And then I looked at the trade, and I got a nasty trade. I don't think this dude listens to my podcast, so I'm going to say I fleeced him. I fleeced Ivan Alstein. Yeah, you're done, buddy. It's in a big dynasty league with Joe, so I don't even know who this dude is. But I got DK and Brian Robinson. He got Jared Goff and Xavier Worthy. Jared Goff is mid of mid this year, and I have Josh Allen, so I don't even need him. Xavier Worthy, yeah, high in the rookie, but I don't know if he's really got a career in consistent points. I guess I'm kind of betting on the under there. And then I got Brian Robinson, who, you talk about youth, how youth is important. Well, he's on a team with Austin Eckler, who I also have, so I have a little running back pairing in case one starts to get more carries. But Brian Robinson has been in the league for 2 years, so there's some youth. He's basically a rookie. And then DK is a legit receiver. He's only been in the league for 5 years. Like, I got a zero risk scenario, you know? It was either the trade didn't happen and the team stayed how there was, or the trade did happen. And I got 2 players who have legit, like, proven fantasy points in their systems, and 2 fills my need at running back while getting rid of a quarterback that I don't even need. I don't need quarterbacks, you know. I'm very happy. Anyway, big long tangent for the receivers, but DK had a week, and I'll tell you who didn't really have a week. Xavier Worthy had a bit of a not as good week. So I just felt great. I just felt great about the trade I made. It was awesome. Anyway, and then Neighbors. Now this right here, insane. 18 targets, 64% of the target share. Now that's a underground fantasy stat that you're most likely not going to know what it means, but it means he's getting the ball so much more than anyone else on his team. That's my number 1 trade target for the week. There's very little chance that he's available in your league on the bench or like in the open market, you know, on the waiver wire is what I meant. But he's I mean, like, I just submitted to trade him for Jalen Waddle in the league. Like that's how high I am right now, because a dude that's getting that much. I did also put Dalton Kincaid in there as well for me to receive. It wasn't just even. But Dalton Kincaid's playing pretty terribly. I'll get to him later. I'm actually going to talk about him. Anyway, Neighbors, I mean, like, he's, in my eyes, he's setting up for a top 10, top 15 receiver season right now, whereas Waddle is obviously quarterbackless and number 2 on his team. Neighbors is dominant. I don't know who I just traded with him. I think it was Carter. Carter, I really hope you didn't listen to that last part of the podcast, because you should take the trade. But anyway, Neighbors is a freaking animal. And then, Raiders. Look at the Raiders. So inspirational, beating the Ravens. You know what? Good for you guys. I mean, if you can't beat them, at least be happy for them. That's kind of all I'm looking at. Quentin Johnson. Now, that was a bit of a surprise game. Coming off of 6. He really caught 2 touchdowns. Quentin Johnson's going to be a guy that a lot of dudes are high on in the market waiver wire right now. But 2 touchdowns is not necessarily, like, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. 51 yards. Those are the stats that you kind of want to stay away from, because if they're so touchdown dependent, you can't do that every game. He's a guy I keep an eye on, but really right now you're looking at Neighbors, you're looking at J.K. Dobbins, you're looking at Derek Carr as your guys of the week, and then we get to tight ends. And tight ends is where it changes up a bit. I'm kind of excited for the tight ends here, because tight ends are having a rough year, honestly, you know. And so the fact that we can maybe get a little bit of value right now is exciting. George Kittle led the way with 20. Hunter Henry with 18. Brock Bowers with 18. Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end in fantasy football. Trey McBride, I expected Trey McBride and I expected George Kittle. Hunter Henry and Brock Bowers, what are you talking about? That's crazy. But those are not the guys I want to target. Now, the guy I want to target is a little bit lower. I'm looking down this list and I'm seeing the number 4 tight end is Isaiah Likely. Like that hype train just unfortunately really fell. That sucks. Anyway, Isaiah Likely is not the guy I want to look for. I want to look for a dude who I was really high on the start of the year, Dalton Kincaid. A dude that has not got a lot of volume. It's clear that he's the number 2 receiver on the Bills team, and this is just a perfect time for value. You know, there's maybe 5 tight ends that I feel good about starting right now. Travis Kelce I barely even feel good about. It's basically like Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers. I don't even know who else you can confidently start every week knowing you'll get points. Like, there's really nobody. So Dalton Kincaid's a perfect dude to target right now. And he's going to, I'm going to say it right now, he's going to be my main target this week. I think he's legit. I think he can play. I mean, personally, I think he can play. We'll see what happens, you know. We'll see how people are playing. That's kind of it, you know. I mean, that's kind of the positions. Kickers, 22 points for Austin. Oh, that was crazy. I got to give a little shout out to the kicker. The Washington Commanders kicker scored every point on their team. That's nuts, bro. And Kami Fairbairn is also just is playing lights out. He's scored 37 points in 2 games. Like, that's better, like, fantasy point wise. That's better than most most fantasy players. Right, like most normal players have not scored that many, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, that's about it. You know, that's about it for the episode. I really like the tight ends this week because of how honestly lackluster they've been doing makes trading exciting. And I'm looking at defenses real quick while I'm talking because I'm just that guy, and I like the Bills defense too. That'll be my closing remark. Is take a look at the Bills defense. Maybe you wanna see that. I don't know. That's gonna be it for me this week. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will have an episode next week on time because I am that freaking organized. But that's gonna be it. Mikey Andersen signing off.